Let us not forget everything that happens. It's by the will of Allah. Holy will. It's time to unite and stand, and we will be the best amongst men. It's not time to be extreme or do the unthinkable, but to stand together as one. Tune into Sunnahfollowers, streaming every day, various platforms. Trust me, you'll find a way. Sunnahfollowers, you will make it through. The Fitrah is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah by your side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. You will make it through. The Fitrah is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through.
Alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam Allah, wa rasulallah. Welcome to the first class for tonight. This is our Aqidah class. It's also the most important class that we teach here, because like I remind you all on a regular basis, it doesn't matter how much good that we do in this world. You know, if we do not have the correct belief system, then none of our good deeds will be accepted by Allah. And I didn't make that up. Allah tells us that in numerous verses of the Quran, and even our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam tells us that in numerous hadiths. It's all about the belief system. That's what differentiates us from the Christians. A lot of my new shahadas, when they convert to Islam, that's the first thing that they ask me. They say, Sister Layla, I was a good Christian. They say, what's the difference? They would tell me, some sisters would tell me, oh, I gave a lot of donations out for the poor. I supported different charities. I never drank. I never smoked. I never, I stayed away from the sins. I didn't violate the 10 commandments. So what's the difference? Were my chances just as good for making it to paradise before embracing Islam? And I have to give them the correct answer that unfortunately a lot of daya don't give them. And the answer is no. Your chances to paradise were nothing. They were zero. You were no different than Mother Teresa. You were no different than a lot of people who claim to be devoted to their belief. Okay? Allah is clear. If the belief system is not correct, you get nothing in the hereafter. Allah does let us know. The Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did tell us in an authentic hadith that for those good kafirs, there really is no such thing as a good kafir. I hope y'all understand that. But for those kafirs, those unbelievers, like his uncle, like Abu Talib, because the companions asked that question too. I tell y'all all the time, there's no question that anyone on this planet can come up with today that was not already asked of our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You just have to learn this deen. Learn it from the correct people of knowledge. Learn those hadiths, because the hadiths are the history of Islam. Learn about those companions. Okay? Well, the companions, you know, they said that, look at Abu Talib. He was the uncle of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Abu Talib was the one that protected him. Abu Talib helped him, you know, helped him financially and everything else. But when Abu Talib died, what did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam have to let the Muslims know? He will be in hell. He will be in hell with my father, with my mother, and anyone else. He said that dies upon a belief system other than than Islam. And the people said, but what about all the good he did? Well, Allah will reward them. He rewards them for the good they do in this world. He said, my uncle Abu Talib lived a good life. He had money. He had property. He had wives. He had children. He enjoyed his life in this world. This world, that's when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, this world is the paradise for the unbeliever. But once they die, that's it. They end up in hell for eternity. Does everybody understand that? So the belief system is everything. The belief system is everything. That's why Allah says anyone who dies upon a belief system other than Islam, it will never be accepted from them. Never. Just like Mother Teresa. She lived a good life in this world. But where is she now? Hello. I'm sorry, guys. So the only way to salvation is by declaring La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah and being firm upon that. Does everybody understand that? A lot of Muslims don't. And I don't understand why today Muslims still don't get this when Allah is clear. That's why we need to focus on Aqidah, all this other stuff about politics, and ain't nothing more important than Aqidah. Okay? Tawheed, what it means to believe in Allah. Because most of us as Muslims are lost in this. If you're thinking, and by the way, if you're one of those Muslims who believes that there will be non-believers in paradise, something's wrong with you. Because this is not our belief system. There will be no Christians. Allah tells us there will be no Christians in paradise. There will be no Jews in paradise. There will be no Buddhists in paradise. There will be no Hindus in paradise. He said paradise is the abode only for the believers. And so how is it that we have Muslims today in 2024 who think that there will be Christians in paradise? First of all, Allah lets us know. Allah tells us in the Quran, Jesus alayhi salam was not a Christian. This is a basic. As Muslims, we have to understand that every prophet was Muslim. Their religion was the same. Allah lets us know every prophet came upon the same belief. They were all Muslims. He says Jesus alayhi salam was Muslim. Moses alayhi salam was Muslim. Abraham was Muslim. Jonah, Muslim. Solomon, David, Muslim. That was the religion of all the prophets. They weren't Christians and Jews and Buddhists and whatever, Wiccans or whatever. Does everybody understand that? As the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, we are brothers from different mothers, and we all came upon the same belief, Islam, which means total submission to Allah. That's what Noah preached. That's what Abraham preached. That's what Jonah, Solomon, David, they all preached. Total submission to Allah. Does everybody understand? So every prophet and messenger, they were all Muslims. That was their religion. Does everyone understand that? And the people that will enter paradise of their followers, let me talk about that briefly, because this is a question that a lot of the new Muslims ask me. First of all, on the day of judgment, I want every Muslim listening to me to try to understand this. I'm going to try to break this down in plain, simple, grassroots English. On the day of judgment, when Allah raises us up, every prophet that Allah sent will stand before their people. In other words, whoever you followed, you will stand behind them. Those people that followed Jonah will stand behind Jonah. Those people that followed Abraham will stand behind him. Those people who followed Ezekiel will stand behind him. Those people that followed Samuel will stand behind him. Y'all get it? Those of us, we will stand behind the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Allah lets us know, after being raised up and after standing behind your prophet, the first people, the first nation that will be judged is the nation of the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That means us. We will be the first. All the other nations will be standing behind their prophets. Y'all understand that? Waiting. And while they're waiting, we are the first to be judged. Y'all understand that? That means when we are being judged, that means when we cross the Sirat bridge, ain't nobody else crossing with us. The people that follow Moses are not crossing with us. The people that follow Jesus are not crossing with us. Y'all understand that? And by the way, this is another question that I was asked. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam explained to us in great detail in numerous hadiths that not only will we be the first to be judged, but we, his nation, will be the first to enter paradise. What does that mean? We will enter paradise before Moses. We will enter paradise before Jesus. We will enter paradise before any other prophet and their nation. Do y'all understand that? Because this is where a lot of brothers, and I'm talking about the brothers because it seems like you brothers are the ones that argue and debate the deen a lot. And the sad thing is, none of you are qualified because all of you are twisted. None of you understand, and I'm the ones I'm talking to. None of you understand basic Tawheed. You haven't learned from the people of knowledge. Muslims today have to understand we can't teach ourselves the religion. Listening to a bunch of lectures on the internet ain't learning. I had a teacher. I had some of the best teachers ever in our era, and I sat in their presence and learned from them one-on-one, not listening to no internet crap. I was tested, quizzed for years from my teachers. That's how you learn Islam, not by listening to lectures. You have to sit in the company of the people of knowledge and learn directly from them. You Muslims today are not doing that. You guys are hip-hopping on the internet, listening to the Ruwaybida, not real scholars. By the way, it's not that many real scholars left anyway. Subhanallah. Anybody tell you that there is lying. Okay? But anyway, Moses, Jesus, and their nations, Jonah, David, and may Allah bless them all, Solomon, Ezekiel, Samuel, all of their nations, they will not enter paradise before us, guys. The Prophet Muhammad was clear. He said, we are the last to come in this world, but we will be the first in the hereafter, the first to be judged, the first to enter paradise. So if you're believing that Moses is going to be there before us, you're crazy. You got to go learn the basics of Islam. Go learn Islam from the true people of knowledge and stop hip-hop YouTubing. Okay? Listen to people who are just lecturers. And most of them are Ruwaybida anyway. I keep telling y'all that 97% of the people y'all listen to on YouTube are Ruwaybida. 97%. That's a big percentage. Okay? So anyway, on the day of judgment for these young brothers, every people will stand behind their prophet. And those are the nations. The nation of Moses, the nation of Jesus, the nation of Samuel, the nation of Solomon, the nation of David, etc., etc., etc. We will be the first to be judged. And when we're walking across that bridge, it ain't going to be no people from Moses walking with us or Jesus walking with us. It's us. Then after the last of us has been judged, after the last of the Prophet Muhammad's nation has entered, then Allah will do the other prophets and their nations. Do y'all understand that? Am I making this clear? I hope I got somebody in Zoom that can tell me if I'm breaking this down. Is it clear? I am making it clear? Okay, because these brothers are so confused here. That's why we have the other authentic hadith. And what's the source? What's the source? What's the source? Sahih Bukhari. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us the first person who will enter paradise is him. And the second person is not Moses, not Jesus, not no prophet at all. The second person that will enter paradise after him is Abu Bakr, because Abu Bakr is the best that came after him of this nation. And then after Abu Bakr, the third person to enter paradise will be Umar. And then the fourth person will be Uthman. Then the fifth person will be Ali. And then after them, the people that will enter after them are those 70,000 people, those 70,000 forerunners who Allah will not hold accountable. They will enter at the same time. And their faces will be like the full moon. So they will all step in, all 70,000 of those forerunners will step in at the same time. And then the rest of us will come across that bridge. The rest of us have to go through the settling of the scores. We all have to walk across that bridge, settle the scores, and hope we make it in. That's detailed in numerous hadiths by our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it's not until after the last of us is judged and entered, then will come Moses and his people and Jesus and their people and so forth and so on. Am I clear? So you young Muslim brothers have to stop all this arguing and debating on the internet with other people. And instead take the time to find a bona fide, qualified teacher to sit in their company and learn directly one-on-one from. Y'all understand that? Because you're fighting and arguing over simple stuff, basic Aqidah that you should have been taught when you were a child. Your parents should have taught y'all about the day of judgment. My mother taught me about this stuff when I was 10 years old. Your parents should have taught you this when you were a kid. And if you a convert, the first thing that you should have been studying was La ilaha illallah, what that shahada means. So we have to learn the deen and learn it correctly. Because when we fail to learn the religion correctly, what happens? Our fitrah. Remember the fitrah. The fitrah is trying to find its way back to Allah. Unless the knowledge that you're seeking is beneficial, your fitrah won't find its way back to Allah. From Allah have we come, and unto Allah we shall return, Muslims. We were created with a purpose. You should know your purpose. You should fulfill your purpose. Stop all this debating. Stop all this kafir bashing. Stop all this ruwaybida behavior. And learn from the true people of knowledge. Okay. All right. So I wanted to answer that question for these young brothers. Is it clear? So is it clear, everybody? Did I make it clear? Somebody let me know. Family?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, Brother Musa, is that good? Is it clear to you now, Brother Musa? Little Musa, is it clear? Alhamdulillah. All right, so let's get started. We have been discussing, that's why this is the most important class, because this is all about Aqidah. But let me make this announcement too first. Ramadan. I've been teaching on the internet since 1986. My lectures are all over the place, okay? And everybody that's been with me knows that I always tell you, this is too early. This is way, way, way too early for anybody to call themselves preparing for Ramadan. I'm sorry, because you're going to forget it. Like Allah says in the Quran, man is forever forgetful. But let me tell you how I do here. The whole month of Ramadan, I will help you get through it. We will take it day by day. I will help you to get through fasting day by day. This class, which is my Aqidah class, I always put it on hold during the month of Ramadan. And instead, the 6 o'clock class is all about fasting. So each day you come in here, I'm going to take you from the day 1, day 2, day 3 of what you should be doing. We'll be speaking about the things that break the fast, the things that don't break. The whole lectures at 6 will be nothing but fasting. We'll speak about Laylatul Qadr during the last 10 days, what you should be doing. It's just like when you make Hajj. I tell people there's no Hajj prep classes. I didn't understand that until I made Hajj. When I was married to my last husband, I asked him, why don't you do a series on Hajj? And he told me ain't no Hajj prep classes. And I didn't know what he meant until he took me on Hajj, because it's so much. That's the purpose of having a guide. We have a Hajj guide. The guide will tell you what to do step by step, because you ain't going to remember all that stuff. You're going to be on a spiritual plane. So it's the same with Ramadan. I don't care. There ain't no prep for that. I will take you day by day through fasting. But what I do is this too. 1 week, 7 days before Ramadan begins, I do a real quick brush over of what to expect. I go over the purpose of fasting, why we fast, and I do a real quick things that break the fast just to prepare you. Who doesn't have to fast and all of that before. I do it 7 days before Ramadan. And then when Ramadan officially starts, we review everything again. I start with how Ramadan is the month of purification. So we're going to work on purifying our hearts now. We're going to work on, and you should be really able to do it well from this book, Diluting Well Better, because we've spoken about the Fitrah. So this should really be one of the most spiritual Ramadans that any of you as my students have had, because you guys should really understand the Fitrah now, because Ramadan ignites it. Ramadan awakens it. So just to let it be known, so my Ramadan, I don't do Ramadan prep except 1 week before, and I just go over some basic rules, but I will take you through Ramadan day by day by day. This class will be replaced with fiqh fasting, day by day by day. Everybody understand? So this class, Diluting Well Better, from the book written by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid, we will continue it up until 7 days before the Ramadan begins. Then it's nothing but fasting. Okay? Any questions on that? Because I had a lot of people ask me about Ramadan prep. That's how lailanasheeba does it. I've been doing it that way for the past since 1986, and it works out perfect for everyone. Yeah. Is that okay? Good. All right. So now let's get to this class. Today, we're going to continue discussion of the barriers that stand between the Fitrah finding its way back towards Allah, back to Allah. We talked about a couple of barriers. We talked about, first of all, ignorance of the religion. If you are not learning this religion properly, there's no way that the Fitrah within your heart can be awakened. Okay? You have to seek beneficial knowledge. And then we spoke about arrogance, how arrogance is another evil emotion that serves as a barrier of the heart that can prevent your Fitrah from awakening and thriving. And also we spoke about the subconscious, how as Muslims we have to be mindful of our thoughts. When we talk about the subconscious, these are the feelings, the emotions that the heart goes through. As Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid so beautifully described in this wonderful masterpiece that inshallah will serve as a ticket to paradise for him. This is wonderful. I don't know. I told him, I sent Kareem Abu Zaid, talked to him this weekend and told him this book, this whole series, inshallah, the reward he's getting, because it's broken down in English. And then you got a dyer like me who understands the concept. Thank God. Now I see why Mukhtar's father, let me get credit to where it is. Mukhtar's father was the imam of my community back in the 60s. We were with the Darul Islam community. Hello, Darul Islam, from the Malcolm X Black Panthers movement, Black nationalists. Anyway, I now understand why Imam Mutawaf, that was, why he never emphasized Arabic so much. It makes sense. Now, Imam Latif, y'all know Imam Latif Al-Amin out from New York, Brooklyn and New York, y'all know, and Imam Siraj and them, they all about the Arabic. Their community could read Arabic, speak Arabic, and all of that. But Imam Mutawaf, whose community I was with and still am with, he didn't emphasize Arabic so much, just enough to learn the prayers. He taught us, make sure y'all learn the Fatiha, the 4 Qs, Ayat Kursi, all that stuff, Tashahhud, that stuff. But his emphasis was hadith, Aqidah. And now I see. Because subhanallah, And he used to say, learn how to speak well in English. Learn how to speak grassroots English so you can explain it to the people. You know, I grew up in the 60s, guys. A lot of people think that there were no Sunni Muslims in America. That's bull crap. A lot of people say that there was no Islam came until the Arabs and the Pakistanis came. That's crap. I grew up in the 60s, baby cakes. Layla was always upon Siratul Mustaqim. I'm not from no Elijah Muhammad. I don't know nothing about him, except he was a bad man. He wasn't no Muslim. I grew up upon Siratul Mustaqim. I was learning hadiths at the age of 7, 8, 9. By the age of 12, I memorized by heart every single one of the hadiths in Bukhari and Muslim, all of them by heart. By the time I was 15, I memorized the entire Sittah. Oh, yeah. But now I see why Imam Mutawaf emphasized English, because that's the problem. One of the reasons why a lot of Muslims in America, a lot of Muslims in Europe, a lot of Muslims in Australia, they don't understand the basics, is because of the language barrier. It's hard to find people who know the Arabic, who can break it down in grassroots plain English. That's why a lot of the Muslims are messed up in regards to their understanding of these hadiths. A lot of you didn't know what the Fitrah was. You didn't understand what the Fitrah was, but now you do. And this is why I say, inshallah, Sheikh Kareem will get a lot of blessings for this, because he put together in this trilogy the basics of what it means to believe La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, and broke it down. The English is not grassroots. The only thing I would suggest, and when he does the books, revise them, is to make it American English, because American English is not the same as UK English. Americans are grassroots, you know, but mashallah, it's a good book to follow if you got a teacher who has the correct Aqidah to go with it. Y'all understand that? So this, inshallah, this whole series will serve as a barakah for him for many, many, many centuries after he's gone. Because most of the world speaks English, not Arabic. Okay, and I shared that with him. Just break it down to American English, because American English is the lowest form. You know, if you can understand American English, you can understand anybody's English. Okay, so alhamdulillah, we've been speaking about the different barriers that stand in the way of the Fitrah finding its way back to Allah. Lack of beneficial knowledge, arrogance. You know, an arrogant person, this is a person that deems themselves to be better than others, above others. This is a person that praises themselves to the point that they think, I don't need nobody to tell me anything. I can pick up this book and read it and understand it myself. That's not true. And you guys see that. All of my students who have bought this book, you cannot read this book and think you're going to walk away understanding it. You still have to have a person of knowledge to explain it and break it down. But an arrogant person thinks, oh, I don't need nobody to teach me. I'll just buy the book, read it myself, and I'm going to paradise. No, you ain't going to understand nothing in this book. No, you're going to misconstrue the meaning of it, just like you do the hadiths and the Quran. So arrogance is another barrier that stands in the way of your Fitrah staying ignited, and your Fitrah igniting your faith to help you to get closer to Allah. Well, today we're going to speak more in detail about a really bad barrier, heedlessness. The khutbah that Kareem gave on last Friday, I played it here twice for you guys. I broadcasted it. I streamed it live when he gave it. I don't even know if he know I did that. But I streamed this khutbah. I was able to plug in and stream him live when he gave it. And I also streamed it a couple of other times here too at night. He spoke about heedlessness. He spoke about these pages. Today we're covering pages 102 to 105. He went into detail in his khutbah Friday of the dangers of heedlessness and how heedlessness will diminish the light within your heart. So I want everybody to take out their books, turn to page 102 in the book, because that's where we will be beginning. And for those of you who have not yet purchased this book, go to Amazon. The book is $19.99. It's worth the money. The book is over 500 pages. In my opinion, I would have charged $150 for this book. That's how valuable it is. So $19.99 from Amazon. But for those of you who got the book, turn to page 102. And I want all my students to take screenshots of the PowerPoints when I put them up. As you guys know, I am not a lecturer. There's a difference. Lailanasheeba is a professional teacher. Okay? Ustada. That's what ustada means, a teacher. Just like Mukhtar, he's an ustad, a real teacher. Mukhtar got degree to be he went to school to be a teacher. Okay? That's why we can break stuff down to y'all simply. My degree is not in education, mine is in communications. But since I'm a communication specialist, that's what my degrees are in, and ancient civilizations. I can communicate to you effectively. Plus, I worked as a substitute teacher for years too. Yes, good money. By the way, Maliun, anybody with a college degree in America, they need substitute teachers. It doesn't matter. As long as you got a substitute teaching money, Maliun, while you're looking for a job, substitute teach. They're hiring substitute teachers. I used to do it for extra income. And if you work in the hood, they would pay as much as $100 an hour. I was making $100 an hour substituting in the hood. So I just wanted to tell y'all that substitute teacher, as long as you got a bachelor's degree. Okay, they hiring all over America. They say it's a shortage of teachers, man. Really bad. But anyway, subhanAllah. Turn to page 102. Let me take everything down. I want y'all to screenshot my PowerPoints. At the end of the class, print them out from your phone and then staple them together and attach it to page 102 of the book. This is volume 2. So let's take everything down so y'all can take screenshots. Hold on. Oh, yeah, I got to work it all. By the way, I'm going to have to train Fame on how to stream. Fame, I'm gonna have to train you. I need somebody to help me stream, especially on the weekend. So get ready to be trained. All right. Okay. Let me make my. And by the way, let me share to you the Zoom room first. Hold on, I'm coming in on Zoom. Let me share you guys to my PowerPoint. And now for the people here. Oh, y'all can see this. Let me share you guys here. Okay, hold on. I'm going to put my PowerPoint. Inshallah, everybody can see this. Okay, let's make it big screen. Mina, does that ticker get in the way? Have you noticed? No, it doesn't, so I can leave it? No. Okay. Okay, I'm going to make this even larger, guys. Hold on. And everybody on YouTube, they see the PowerPoint, right? Because I'm on Instagram and they lag. Okay. We see it. Okay. All right, here we go, guys. I'm going to try to make it bigger. Move this down. Slideshow. Yeah, real teacher. Take notes. And I want my Sunnah follower kids, make sure y'all print this out because I will quiz you guys next Saturday on this week's class. That's going to be the routine every Saturday for the Sunnah follower kids. Okay, I will quiz you for the week for what we've discussed over the week in this class, because all my Sunnah follower kids should be coming to this Aqidah class too. All right, so today we're going to be covering pages 102 through 105. And by the way, this is how the book looks. You're going to go to Amazon.com. The book is red. You want the red peel. We finished the blue one. You buy it too, because it's a trilogy. But this is the red book. This is how it looks. It's called Diluting El Wala Better, Volume 2, Awakening Faith. How to awaken your iman, how to awaken your faith when you're living in a non-faith centered world. That's a picture of Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. Now, for some of you smart aleck men, like I said, I don't have another class after me today, so I can go into details as a teacher. I noticed on some of my comments, only a few, there's a couple of uneducated Muslim men who talk about why she used pictures. First of all, there's nothing, I repeat, there is nothing, I repeat, there is nothing in Islam that forbids us from using pictures. The lawful and the unlawful have been clearly defined by Allah. And as the Prophet Muhammad said, the things Allah doesn't mention are lawful. You need to learn to accept his concessions. But why do I use pictures? I'm going to tell you why. There's a reason. Even when I do Sheikh Atlee's books, I use the picture of Sheikh Atlee. I just got on Brother Ahmad today. When Ahmad puts out shorts, if he doesn't have the video, I want him to use the picture of Dr. Ali. The picture. The picture. Why is the picture important? Because we are living in the days of fitan, the days of the Ruwaybida. And as Muslims, you are taking your knowledge from. Y'all understand that? So I put Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid's picture here because he is the author of this magnificent book. And I want y'all to know who he is. So no innovator, no deviator, no shayateen can say that they authored this book. So that's the picture of Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid, his masterpiece. And I put my picture on my work so no one can claim to be lailanasheeba. Hello, you need to know who you're learning from. That's me. And that's the way I look in real life. Like that's the way I look on camera. I don't use filters. Layla doesn't use filters. That's the real Layla. Okay? And that's the real Kareem Abu Zaid. He don't use no filters either. He might need a little bit of maybe a little bit of filter. I'm just joking. I gotta keep it real, y'all. But no, that's Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. So that's why I put the pictures on all of our works. And Brother Ahmad, if you're listening, I want Dr. Ali's picture on his shorts. I've uploaded a picture of him. All right, so get the book. And pages 102 through 105. This is where the Sheikh speaks about heedlessness and how heedlessness serves as a massive barrier of the heart and its fitrah. So let's take a look-see. Okay. Yeah, I got to make everything beautiful. I'm a woman. What can I say? So heedlessness entails, what does it mean to be heedless? You hear this word. This is an English word, but we don't use it in American English. In American English, you're not going to hear that many Americans saying, oh, he's heedless. Oh, heedlessness. A lot of people in the UK use this term, but it's not an American term. But what is heedlessness? Heedlessness entails being consumed with the life of this world being consumed with your desires, and you have no concern of the hereafter. So, living la vida loca for the Spanish people. When you heedlessness means living la vida loca, living the life of this world. French people say la vie. It's all about la vie. And for Americans, I'm just living a life. I'm living a life. When you hear Americans say, I'm living a life, man, I'm just living a life. That's heedlessness. These are people who are consumed with worldly pursuits and their desires, and they have no thoughts of the hereafter. It's all about what makes you feel good, what you enjoy, no consequences. And this type of belief brings about a lot of harm to the person. Because if a person is so consumed with the life of this world, this is a person that has no spiritual growth. This is a person who has no connection with Allah. This person's connection is only with his or her desires, what makes her feel good, what makes him feel good. And it leads to a numbness of the heart. What do I mean by a numbness of the heart? Well, people who are heedless, these are people that can listen to a lecture and it doesn't bother them. It doesn't move them. This is a person that can hear about death, what happens in the grave, and they could care less. Well, what do I care? So these people are numb to reminders, and they are numb to the warnings when you come to them. When you go to them and tell them how they need to be wearing hijab. I'll go to a sister and say, sister, where's your hijab? Do you know what the punishment is? That when you are in your grave, because you did not wear a hijab in this world, your soul will be placed in a cauldron in the hellfire, naked, and you will be roasted over and over and over again with the fornicators and adulterers in that hellfire. The sister will say, so I don't care. That's a heedless person. So how do we overcome it? Well, the only way to overcome being heedless is to, number one, go back to worshiping Allah. You got to make them prayers, because remember, as Dr. Asim talked about this past weekend, prayer opens the connection to Allah. And also you have to be regular in learning about Allah, learning his religion. And then you have to prioritize your relationship with him instead of over the life of this world. And that's why I tell you, sisters, in that short video that I put out, it's not about pleasing your husband. A lot of you women, you don't care about anything except your husbands. I know a lot of sisters in here who don't pray at all. You only pray when your husband comes around. Okay? You don't practice the religion at all. You don't even fast unless your husband comes home. Then you pretend to fast around him. You are making your husband your God. Allah is not accepting anything unless it's done solely for him. You should pray and fast because Allah commands us to do it, not because it makes your husband happy. You should be trying to please Allah. So we got to prioritize our relationships. Put Allah first and foremost over your husband, over your children, over yourself. This is how you break the barrier of heedlessness. This is how you reawaken the inner light of your Fitrah and strengthen your connection with Allah. Everybody understand that? That's why you will hear a lot of brothers and sisters telling you never stop praying. You know, because it's still key, even though Allah may not accept it, because Allah does not accept any of our good deeds if we're deliberately, intentionally disobeying him. But the simple fact that you are trying to talk to him, that will keep that connection, that flame in your heart from burning out completely. Because once the light of the Fitrah burns out completely, it's hard to come back then. So that's why they say, keep praying, even though your prayers may not be accepted. Okay, and here's a hadith that Kareem Abu Zayd put in his book. The following hadith illustrates the effects of heedlessness on your heart. We have the hadith of Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman. He said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, trust. And you guys have heard this hadith. We're going to break down the meaning of it in detail. The Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, trust descended in the innermost part of the heart of man. How did it happen? We talked about this. After Allah created Adam, he blew his soul into him. And then Allah ran his hand across the back of Adam, and all the souls of his offspring, that's my soul, your soul, our great, 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 great grandmothers and grandchildren's soul appeared. And Allah gathered all the souls, our souls together at Mount Arafat. And Allah embedded within our soul the trust. The trust. What is the trust? That's the Fitrah. The Fitrah was originally a part of the soul. The Fitrah recognizes what's good. The Fitrah recognizes what's clean. The Fitrah is attracted to what is truthful. The Fitrah is attracted to what is good. And then when Allah had our soul blown into the fetus of our mother's womb, the Fitrah left the soul and it attached to the heart. That's why when you have an abortion, you've killed someone, you've taken a Fitrah away. Okay, the Fitrah of the heart, the soul. Okay, so the Fitrah attached to our heart. So that's what the Prophet meant when he said the trust descended. It went into the heart of man. So our Fitrah attached to our heart when we were in the womb of our mother. And then when we came into this world, the Fitrah remains there. Our Fitrah never went away. The Fitrah never went away. That's why you're not a revert. You are a convert to this religion. What are you reverting to? Your Fitrah never left. It was always there. Okay? And as we grow up, our parents raised us. If you were raised Muslim, they raised you upon the Quran. They raised you upon the Sunnah, the Hadiths. If you were not raised as a Muslim, you ended up hearing the Quran. You heard the words of Allah being recited, and that attracted your Fitrah's attention. It caused you to convert to this religion. Or maybe you heard a hadith about our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it caused you to convert. You're a convert, not a revert to our religion. So the Prophet said the Quran was revealed, and they learned from the Quran, and they learned from my example. That's the hadith. The hadith are the things the Prophet Muhammad said, the things the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. And then the Prophet tells us that Fitrah, that trust, that ability to recognize the truth, that ability to be attracted to what's good and clean, it'll disappear. He said a person will go to sleep, and when they wake up, that trust that was in their heart is gone. He's talking about the Fitrah. Because you engaged, you gave into the evil of the soul. You started committing sins. Instead of seeking beneficial knowledge of Islam, you sought knowledge that was not of benefit. You gave in to the life of this world. You became more concerned with your desires and the life of this world. And one day, your fitrah went out. The light was extinguished. And all that was left was a little bitty mark. So this hadith shows us what happens when we become heedless, when we no longer care about wanting to please Allah, when we no longer care about what happens in the grave, when we no longer care that the life of this world will eventually go away and we will have to be held accountable. That fitrah has become extinguished and your heart becomes hard. Your heart becomes dark and it's hard to come back from that. So this hadith about the trust, that's how what it's talking about. The trust is the fitrah. Y'all understand this hadith? The trust, when the prophet said trust will leave the hearts of man, the fitrah, which recognizes truth from falsehood, good from evil, it's going to disappear. It's disappearing already. You see people more concerned with making money off of Islam than learning it. They use Islam as a platform to get on social media and argue, debate, and put out wrong information. These people, their fitrah is being extinguished. So again, if we're heedless of our purpose in life, heedless of our connection to Allah, heedless of the hereafter, it's gonna erode your faith or cause your iman, your belief in Allah, to disappear. So the trust or the fitrah, it represents the core of our faith. Again, your fitrah is what fuels your iman, your faith. And the way to keep your faith strong is by learning the truth about Allah, learning the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, and trying to live each day of your life practicing this religion with the understanding of those companions, not the understanding of your iman, not the understanding of your sheikh, not the understanding of some group, but the understanding of the companions, because Allah tells us no one understood this religion better than they, and no one ever will. That's why they will be of those 70,000 that will enter paradise without being held accountable. That's why they will enter paradise way before us. So you should be living each day on this earth, practicing Islam the way they did, with their understanding, their behavior, their attitude and fervor. Does everybody understand that? Okay. And also this hadith highlights that heedlessness, you can be a strong Muslim. You could be the best Muslim ever and the strongest Muslim ever, but you can fall victim to heedlessness. And falling victim to that will weaken your faith, weaken you, and cause you to fall, from grace with Allah. Does everybody understand that? Very important, powerful stuff here. Okay? So as Muslims, we have to remain vigilant against the life of this world and its distractions. We have to keep that connection with the law open through our prayers. We have to continue to nourish the fitrah of the heart, because the fitrah is attracted and recognizes the truth, whereas the soul is criminal by nature and attracted to only that which is bad for it. And again, the way to nurture or nourish the fitrah is through beneficial knowledge. Learning the true meaning of the Quran. And by the way, let me announce to you guys, beginning Thursday, This Thursday, we have another scholar. He's a real scholar too. He's on the AMJA committee. He's an American Muslim jurist, Sheikh Saud Hassani. He will be he has joined the Sunnah follower team here, and he'll be teaching Quran Tajweed, how to understand and implement the Quran in your life on Thursdays. Okay, because that's important. He wants to be a part of this dawah too. He wants the reward here too. Okay, so by reflecting on the Quran and learning from its lessons, by learning about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his companions, their lives and their struggles, that's how we reignite the flame of faith within us. That's how we keep ourselves from falling victim to heedlessness. And Ibn al-Qayyim, let me speak about him for a minute. Ibn al-Qayyim was one of the early scholars of Islam. He was a student of Ibn Taymiyyah. Ibn al-Qayyim wrote a wonderful book called Purification of the Soul, Purification of the Heart. He did a lot of time speaking about the human heart, the human soul. And he calls the awakening, the station of awakening, as the beginning of your journey towards Allah. And he talks in his book about how crucial it is for us to awake our hearts so we can effectively begin our journey towards Allah. And again, the way to keep that heart awake is by beneficial knowledge. He says, seek beneficial knowledge of Islam. In fact, Ibn Qayyim put in his book how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam defined the difference between beneficial knowledge and knowledge which is not of benefit. He said beneficial knowledge is knowledge that will cause you to cry. Does it break you down and make you fall to your knees and repent? That's beneficial knowledge. If the knowledge you're learning does not cause you to weep over your sins, if it does not cause you to fall to your knees and prostrate before Allah and seek forgiveness, it's not benefit. Everybody understand that? Wonderful book. Look at this verse of the Quran. Allah says, in the interpretation of the meaning, say, I tell you only, and that is that you stand up for Allah's sake in twos and alone, and then ponder. There is no madness in your fellow citizen. He's talking about the Prophet Muhammad. He's saying the Prophet Muhammad is not crazy, because just like a lot of y'all think I'm crazy, just like a lot of you think Kareem Abu Zaid is crazy, a lot of you think that Dr. Jamali is crazy. You may think that Sheikh Atlee is crazy. The people of the truth, we're looked at as being crazy. Remember, the people of the truth, they are the inheritors of the prophets. We inherit their problems. People think that I'm a loudmouth crazy woman. When I'm not a loudmouth crazy woman, I'm obeying my Lord. I'm giving dawah publicly. So I have to make my voice loud. I have to make my voice stern, because Allah says, oh, you women who believe, do not soften your voices when you speak publicly. Make it loud. And also the Prophet said you have to be able to shake the heart of people. I'm a communication specialist, journalism. I know how to shake your heart. Okay? So Allah is speaking about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam here. He's telling the people he's not crazy. He's not insane. He was sent as a warner to you, to warn you before you end up being punished by me. The same way that lailanasheeba, I'm just a warner. I'm just teaching you, warning you, shaking your heart. Kareem Abu Zaid, he's a warner. He's just shaking your heart. Jamali, we're shaking your heart, trying to call you to the truth. We're not crazy. We're not mad men and mad women. We're not witches. Okay, so this verse highlights the call to stand up and awaken for the sake of Allah. It's my job as a daya. What does a daya do? It's Kareem Abu-Zaid's job as a daya. Sheikh Atli's job as a daya. Dramali's job as a daya. It's our job. We waken the hearts. It's our job to keep your fitrah ignited for the sake of Allah, not for money, not for fame, like a lot of these other people are doing it for, not for no YouTube hits. We do it for the sake of Allah. So this verse highlights the importance of heeding the call to Allah. As Muslims, we're supposed to acknowledge the call to Allah together and singly. And when we read the Quran, when we hear the words of Allah being recited to us, instead of us focusing on, I don't like that person's voice. Well, that's your problem. Maybe you hate something which Allah sends good from. My voice will always be loud when I speak publicly. In real life, I don't speak this way, guys, except when I get angry. But I'm soft. Ask my ex-husbands, okay? But anyway, that's another topic. We'll talk about that in another class, sisters. But anyway, subhanAllah, you know, this verse is urging us to ponder the words of Allah when we hear his words mentioned, to ponder Allah's warnings. And our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not insane. Okay? And also this verse serves as a reminder for all of us to embrace the station of awakening, to embrace that fitrah in our heart and be aware of the things that'll take it out. Be aware of our spiritual obligations. Be aware of what Allah commands us to do. You women should know that if you're speaking publicly, if your voice ain't like mine, you ain't got no business on this internet. We got a lot of women with these YouTube channels teaching each other how to put on makeup. What are you doing that for? Or talking about Islam and you got these soft, sexy voices. You ain't qualified to give dawah unless your voice is loud like Layla's. Unless you can make it go up and down like me. You ain't qualified to speak publicly. So we're supposed to ponder the words of Allah, guys, and apply it. Apply his words to our life. The heedless person doesn't do that. They could care less about what Allah says about a woman's voice. The woman's voice is not order, but if it ain't loud, you ain't supposed to be listening to it. And by the way, for my lecture tonight on the heroines of Islam, I'm going to be doing a story of one of the female companions who was able to move her voice like me, up and down publicly. And the Prophet loved to listen to her, because she had that ability to move her voice like lailanasheeba, up and down to awaken your heart. So I'm going to prove to you from her story that the woman's voice is not order. Because if it was order, why did the Prophet Muhammad like to listen to her? Because she wasn't like Atika. Atika was the woman with the beautiful voice that Allah sent the verses down about. Atika, it was natural. So she had to be careful speaking publicly. Okay, but for those women who fear Allah, like we do, that can make our voices strong, Aisha did too. Aisha was a public speaker too. Fatima, a public speaker too. Zainab, public speaker too. We have to make our voices like this. But if you can't, you got to be like Atika. Don't speak at all. Atika couldn't make her voice strong. So that's why Allah sent them verses down. She had to be quiet publicly. Okay? So make sure you guys are here for my 9 o'clock class. I'm going to give you more proof that the woman's voice is not order, because the prophet loved to listen to this sister. She could move your heart and make you fear Allah. Okay? Also, listen to these words. Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning, come close for mankind. What will come close for mankind is their reckoning, while they turn away in heedlessness. Comes not unto them an admonition from their Lord as a recent revelation, but they listen to it while they play. These are verses of the Quran where Allah is warning us how he's sending down all these reminders to us. But instead of us pondering what he says, we ignore him. We turn away from his words. Our hearts are occupied with the life of this world, with evil things. So these verses highlight the state of heedlessness. When people turn away from Allah's warnings, they don't take the religion seriously. Okay? If we reflect on these verses, we can cultivate awareness. We can reawaken and light the flame of our Fitrah and get closer to Allah. And for those of us who do have awakened hearts, when we hear these words, they serve as a reminder to us as to what our purpose in life is. It makes us think about how short our time here on earth is, and we take life more seriously. So, mashallah, this is heedlessness. This is heedlessness. You need to ask yourself, are you a Muslim who is heedless to the words of Allah? If you are a Muslim woman sitting up on YouTube doing a talk show and your voice is not like mine, you're heedless. I'm sorry. You women for that YouTube. You ain't talking about nothing that's a benefit anyway. You just looking for a man. Let's just get real. You're looking for a man. Or you looking for the money. You got a man and he letting you do it so y'all can get rich without him having to get a job. Let's be real. Stop being heedless, women. Stop being heedless to the reminders and the warnings from Allah. So now let me give you guys a quiz just to see how well you understood what heedlessness is. First question. Who can tell me, what does it mean to be heedless? Remember, the problem is we don't understand the meaning of a lot of these English words. What does it mean to be heedless? Anybody? And by the way, let me log in on my other computer so I can see the answers on YouTube. One of my students, Sister Nicola, I don't want Nicola and them to think that I don't see their answers when they're answering too. Yeah. Okay, people in the Zoom room, who's going to take the mic, my students, and tell us, what does it mean to be heedless? Let's hear it.
It means to be so overcome by this world that you don't care about what Allah thinks, and you don't care about the hereafter. You don't care about nothing but this worldly life.
What do you guys think about her answer? Everybody?
Yeah, I agree.
I agree also.
Exactly. That's what it means. A heedless person is a person that just doesn't care. They're more concerned with their desires and the life of this world. They could care less about what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen in the grave. They don't care about that. They don't, even when they hear Allah's reminders, they don't care. It don't bother them. It just rolls off their back. Good job. Next question. What is the difference between a person who is heedless and a person who is arrogant. Remember yesterday, we talked about arrogance, the dangers of arrogance, and how arrogance is a barrier to the heart and your connection with Allah. So what's the difference between an arrogant person and a heedless person? What's the difference?
Basically the same. Heedlessness leads to arrogance. You think you know everything and can't nobody tell you nothing, and you don't care what nobody talking about.
Do you guys agree with her answer? She said they're the same thing, basically. Y'all agree? Does anybody disagree?
I do.
I disagree.
Okay, let me hear the baby. Go ahead. What's the difference between an arrogant person and a heedless person? Go ahead, baby.
An arrogant person only cares about himself and doesn't really, like, he thinks he's like on top of everybody, and Allah is less than him. And heedless person, Allah says he's not really like pride, and like's probably nice, but he's just like doesn't care what Allah says.
Exactly. You see how the children know better? Fresno, write the correct answer down. Like she said, an arrogant person is only concerned with himself. An arrogant person thinks that everything that good that happens to him came from him. He's too busy praising himself, thinking that he basically is Allah. That's an arrogant person. Whereas a heedless person is a person that may not be arrogant. It's just a person that doesn't care what Allah says. He doesn't care what Allah commands us to do. So they're two different things. Does everybody get it? Oh, you did a good job. Was that Sabrina that answered?
Yes.
MashaAllah, I'm so proud of you. Tell your mother, for your mother, take her out to dinner or something. Do something nice for her. MashaAllah, I'm so proud of her. She reminds me of me so much when I was her age. Good job, Sabrina. And also, I can see on YouTube, Aya, just let y'all know I can see y'all. Aya said a heedless person hears Allah's words and doesn't care about it. An arrogant person hears Allah's words and thinks they're too good to follow them. Exactly. They're better than everyone, or it doesn't apply to them. An arrogant person thinks, oh, ain't nobody talking about me. It ain't me. I'm perfect. Everything I do is perfect. I don't need correction. Allah ain't talking about me. That's an arrogant person. Good job, Aya, too. I agree with both of y'all. They're good answers. What about this one? Who can explain the hadith that we've talked about so many times now? Now y'all should really understand the meaning of it. Who can explain the hadith about how trust will disappear from the hearts of man? Who can explain that hadith to us now? The meaning of it. The meaning of how trust will disappear from the heart of man. Come on, people. That's one of the signs of the last hour. Trust will disappear from the heart of man. A man will go to sleep and wake up with no trust in his heart. What is it? What trust? What are they talking about?
I think I know.
Okay, go ahead, baby.
Is it like they wake up one day and lose their trust, which means like they don't listen to like good things and they don't do good stuff. They just do bad stuff, and then their fitrah goes away and the light that shines in their fitrah just burns out.
What do you guys think about her answer? MashaAllah, her answer is correct. Y'all see how we can learn from the children. Exactly. The trust is the fitrah. That's the light. Remember, the heart. The heart is attracted to everything that's good and clean. The soul is attracted to what's bad and dirty. A person to go to sleep and wake up and be attracted to everything that's bad and dirty and won't care about what's clean. They won't care about what's good. The trust, the anima, the Fitrah is gone, like she said. Your Fitrah is gone. You're going to become just like everybody around you. Only concerned with what makes you feel good. Only concerned with what, you like. You won't have any of the good qualities anymore. You will become deceptive like other people are. You will become oppressive like the people around you are. No one can depend on you. No one will be able to trust you. You're not going to be honest anymore because your Fitrah is gone. Remember, once the Fitrah leaves the heart, there's no good left in you. You're worse than an animal. You're going to be like the prophet said, copulating on the streets. That's one of the greater signs of the last hour. The people will be worse than animals. They'll be copulating out on the street in the public like animals, like dogs, because no Fitrah. The trust is gone. That Fitrah is gone from their heart. The heart is black, which means the soul has taken over. Does everybody understand that? I am so proud of you, Sabrina. Does everybody understand? So that's what that is. That hadith about the trust is talking about y'all's Fitrah, our Fitrah, where we won't care about what's good. We won't care about what's truthful, what's clean. We're going to be worse than animals, only concerned with our desires and what we can get for the moment. Powerful hadith. Scary hadith. Yeah. Okay, look at the next question. What about this one? And by the way, this is why I want your children participate in this class. Sabrina, tell them how old you are so they can see that their kids should be in here. They want to know how old you are. How old is she? Tell them your age.
I'm 10 years old.
Y'all hear that? She's 10 years old. The same age I was when Mukhtar's mother was making me memorize them hadiths and write about the fiqh of marriage. 10 years old. You guys need to have your children in my Aqidah class here learning this deen. You don't wait till they're 12. It's too late. Okay, next question. What are some of the causes of heedlessness? What are some of the things that will cause you to become heedless? What are some things that can cause any of us to become heedless? So we should stay away from them. What are some of the causes? What about Shamsa? Shamsa, are your kids here? Is Asma and Najma here? Tahira, Precious, your kids here? What are some things that can cause heedlessness?
Careless, like you start caring less about things.
Exactly. When you start not caring about somebody else's feelings, a lot of times you could care less whether it hurts somebody's feelings or not. You don't care whether or not you violated another person's rights. To not care about your actions, that leads to heedlessness. Good job. What are some more causes of heedlessness? Go ahead. What do you mean by indulging in too much time, Aya? What does that mean? What do you mean by indulging too much time? I don't understand that. Oh, she said spending too much time with things that are not of benefit. For example, spending too much time on YouTube, watching dance videos. How many of y'all do that? Too much time on TikTok. Too much time gaming on the Twitch site. Okay, you spend too much time on useless things. That can cause your heart the fitrah of your heart to go down. It's got to be beneficial knowledge, not knowledge of not benefit. Good job. What are some other causes of heedlessness? Let me hear from you adults now. Go ahead. Wherever it is, go ahead. It must be somebody like Geechee who ain't got a mic. Okay, Brother Tarek. He said, when you have too much hope in Allah's mercy, you think no matter what you do, you will be spared from the hair. Exactly. Not enough fear. Good point, Tarek. Remember the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us in an authentic hadith, in order to be a believer, you have to have fear of Allah's punishment, love for him, and hope of his forgiveness. And those three components have to be equally proportioned. If you don't have them equally proportioned, they can turn to heedlessness. There's a lot of people out there, for example, the Jews. The Jews, Allah speaks about the Jews and how heedless they are. They have all this hope. They have all this hope that because they're Jews, they're going to be in paradise. But they have no fear of Allah's punishment. So all this hope, but not enough fear, it makes them become heedless. Just because I'm a Jew, how many of you Arabs feel that way? There's a lot of Arabs I know. I even got some family members. Oh yeah, I got some Arabic family members who say, oh, it's okay, I don't have to pray. Just because I'm Arabic, I'm going to go to paradise. Oh, you think you're going to be in paradise because you Arab too, please? Oh, a lot of Arabs think that. They're heedless. Oh, I'm going to be in paradise because I'm Arab. You forgot about Abu Jahl. He's Arabic. You forgot about Abu Lahab. Where are they? Exactly. Okay. Good job. Good answers. What about this? What can a person do to rid himself or to rid herself of heedlessness? If you are a person that suffers with heedlessness, like Sister Eleanor, what can Eleanor do to rid her heart of heedlessness? Anybody? What can Eleanor do to rid her heart of heedlessness? Eleanor, you got any answers?
First thing she can do is learn some education of knowledge and know that what she typed don't have anything to do with one another.
Exactly. The first thing Eleanor can do to rid herself of heedlessness is learn her religion. Seek beneficial knowledge of Islam and not be concerned with whether a person is a female or a male. She should instead recognize the truth, the words of Allah. What else can she do to rid her heart of heedlessness? What other emotion is in Eleanor's heart? I'm asking you, sisters, look at Eleanor. What emotion is in her heart? Because she knows what this voice is. She knows this voice. But what is in her heart that's causing her to be heedless? Can anybody tell me? And y'all didn't hide her, did y'all? I want her to get this. Y'all didn't hide her, did you? Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
She hidden. You want to unhear?
Unhide her, because I want her to hear what I'm getting ready to say. What else is in Eleanor's heart, guys, that's standing in the way of her journey towards Allah that she needs to rid herself of? What other emotion is in there? Come on, sisters, y'all know it. What emotion is in her heart? Because she knows who this voice belongs to. She knows who this voice belongs to. And this voice ain't nothing masculine about it. Ain't nothing masculine about it. Exactly. Jealousy. Jealousy. And we're going to talk in detail, by the way, guys, we're going to talk in detail about jealousy.